What's good, guys? And welcome back to ZFL Mini Logic. It's Zeno here, and you can actually see me in living colour. We're here now to talk about the Tottenham Manchester United game. Now, after Manchester United got absolutely destroyed by Liverpool last week, we all expected them to basically struggle in the next few games because they had Tottenham coming up, and then Atalanta after that, and then Manchester City after that. And everyone decided that these games would be the games that really decided whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was going to be able to keep his job or not. Now, Tottenham on the other hand, you know how the media is, right? When they focus on one thing, they focus on one thing. A lot of people didn't actually realise the importance of this game for Tottenham as well. After a very good start where they won 3 games in a row and Nuno Espirito Santo was named the manager of the month for August, they then went on to lose 4 of the next 6 games. Conference League and Premier League. And this United game was proven to be a very big game to see where Tottenham were. Obviously, United had the more pressure because that's what was perceived to be the case. But seeing the reaction after the game, it's clear to see now who's really under pressure, if you know what I mean. Unfortunately, Tottenham got absolutely blitzed. United came out, they changed their system, they played a 3-4-1-2. Nuno playing off Cavani and Ronaldo, 2 strikers, and it played to perfection in their eyes. The reality is, United could just play this basically the same team they did against Liverpool and probably still would have won because that's how easy Tottenham made it for them. The reality of the fact is, if you look at the overall season stats, Tottenham are bottom 3 for shots on target, chances created, you know, all these basic fundamental attacking stats, chance creation stats. I haven't done the research on them because I don't want to see how bad the numbers are. It's like, it's not good. It's really not good. And, well, watching the game live, it was almost embarrassing how they struggled to create chances. They really struggled to create chances. And they did. And of course, for the 3rd half in a row now, they had no shots on target. Both halves, first half and second half, no shots on goal. No shots on goal. You have the best striker. Well, last season he was the best striker. I don't know about now. You had the best striker of last season in your team. And also you have the best left winger in Heung-min Son in your team, also from last season, and they just couldn't create a single chance, a single clear-cut chance. When I saw the lineup, I questioned picking Lo Celso over Ndombele, but I thought it was worthy of giving him a chance. He struggled to get a grip of the game. The midfield didn't help him too. Skip and Højbjerg were losing balls quite easily. You can see that the problems are remaining the same no matter how many times they change the team. In the Arsenal game, it was the fact they left too many spaces in behind for Arsenal to exploit. In the Crystal Palace game, well, I don't even know what to tell you about the Crystal Palace game. I'd rather not talk about that because if you ask me, that was the worst result up until the Arsenal game and now the United game. And it's clear to see that even in the Chelsea game, they did create a few half chances, but when you watch Tottenham, you can see that there are teams that are struggling to create chances, struggling to create opportunities. And this game was, you call it the peak, really. It was almost embarrassing how they struggled to threaten a team that looked so weak, so porous against Liverpool, who weren't even playing at 100%, mind you. They weren't even playing at 100% in that game. I've seen them put on better performances this season, Liverpool, and they still steamrolled Manchester United. And then Man United turned around and did what Liverpool did to them, to Tottenham. Huh? Credit to Ole for taking the risk, keeping Fred and McTominay, despite the amount of United fans that don't like them playing together, and playing a 3 at the back and making it work. Obviously, people are out here saying that, you know, there's lots of rumours that Conte might replace him after the Liverpool game and all that kind of stuff. And obviously people thought if you can't beat him, join him. Man's going to turn into Conte and do the job on them, on Spurs. But the reality is it still takes a man to take that risk, and you got to give Ole credit because whenever his job is on the line, he turns into Prime United. It's like United when he was, it's like United when he was still playing for them. You know what I mean? they put on a decent performance. They weren't that great. It wasn't like mesmerizing. It wasn't a great performance. It wasn't an amazing performance. It was a great performance because they went on and won the game, created more chances, were the better team, of course, by far. But unfortunately, you can't acknowledge the performance of Manchester United without acknowledging how bad Tottenham were. They gave the game to them on a silver platter. You get what I'm saying? For me, it was a performance that lacked a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. If you know what I mean. Like, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I'll be honest, I couldn't believe what I was watching. Like, the fact that they couldn't turn attack to defence, they couldn't even turn defence into midfield. You know, Højbjerg was losing the ball easy, Skip was losing the ball. For the 2 United goals, obviously, back to what I was saying about the lineups earlier, actually, Ben Davies was a surprise inclusion. Obviously, I mentioned Lo Celso playing with Ndombele, but Ben Davies was a real, surprise inclusion because of the fact that Reguilon, the first choice left back, who hasn't been bad this season, he's been quite solid most parts, was benched. He wasn't injured, nothing like that. It was just a pure personnel preference to play Ben Davies over Reguilon. And we all know that Ben Davies is one of the many Tottenham players to get a lot of stick from the fans. And unfortunately, he proved why. He proved why. The goal he left Wan-Bissaka open too many times. I get it, Wan-Bissaka isn't perceived as a true attacking threat, but you still got to do your damn job. He had too much time on the ball sometimes to, get the ball off from his wide position and get it into the box or to pass it around. He had too much time, too much space. And obviously he wasn't following Ronaldo when Ronaldo made the run behind him, and then he was underneath the ball and he couldn't head the ball away, and then Ronaldo beautifully volleyed it across the goal, past Lloris, And for the second goal, well, Højbjerg gives Skip a hospital pass. I'm sorry, Skip isn't in Ndombele where he's going to control the ball no matter how difficult the pass is, all right? Skip is a young boy from the academy who's worked hard at Norwich, got the plaudits he deserved, came back to Tottenham. He's proven to be pretty solid. At the end of the day, Skip has, proven himself in the lineup to be a very solid, somewhat reliable player, but that's more in spite of how bad Tottenham's midfield is than of his actual ability. He does work hard and he puts in a meaty challenge every now and then. But this game reminds you that he still has a long way to go in terms of his development. He struggled in that midfield. McTominay and Fred aren't the best of midfielders, yeah? We can say that with open honesty. And Skip just couldn't compete with them. He completely got overrun in that midfield. Højbjerg didn't help. Højbjerg was a bit loose. Højbjerg hasn't been quite the same since Mourinho left. Even when Mourinho was there, like a lot of the squad wasn't the same since we went top last season. Since Tottenham went top, last season. So, overall, looking at the bigger picture, this was the perfect game for Manchester United to rebuild their confidence, because Ole's the magic man. When it comes to these games where he's under the biggest of pressures, he always delivers. The 2 Champions League games, for example. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, is it really a surprise that United won this game? A lot of United fans really thought Tottenham were going to win this, and looking back at it now, it's ridiculous. Tottenham are a team right now that are the league position actually compliments them. It flatters them, because looking at apparently the team hasn't even covered 99 kilometers per game. They're the only team in the league that hasn't covered. What am I trying to say here? They're the only team that have covered less than 100 kilometers per game, I believe. It's an irrelevant stat, and I struggle to get to saying it, but I'm still going to drop it there. The reality is, it looks like the players ain't playing for Nuno, just like they weren't playing for Mourinho, and just like they weren't playing for Pochettino. Haven't we seen this before? And obviously, it's got the fans pointing fingers. Blame Levy, blame ENIC, blame Nuno, blame the players. Everyone's to blame. It's a whole disaster class. That game was a whole disaster class, man. Tottenham fans must be... I feel for these men. You feel what I'm saying? I feel for these men. But this is exactly what the doctor ordered for Manchester United, and they're going to be very happy with this result. A comfortable 3-0 win. Rashford's goal at the end was just comical. Like, where was the defence? Why was Romero playing like a right back, and why was Emerson inside? And Eric Dyer is just Eric Dyer, isn't he? He's the one that kept Rashford on side for the goal. Eric Dyer, who I still to this day don't understand why he still starts for Tottenham. He has like a great game every while then. He actually can string a bunch of really great games together, but then he will have one game that makes you question how did he make it as a footballer sometimes. And I get it, it's hard. And I feel for Eric Dyer, and I feel for some of the players in that team that are trying. But sometimes you like I can't really describe it. All I'm just gonna say is that they don't look like a team that's believing in their coach. And it's mad because when you look at the Man City game, the opening game of the season, they look like a team that had real belief. And the crowd believed in the belief. But you know how opening day is like, man, everyone's gassed on opening day, and clearly it wasn't to last for long, because even after the following games after that, the Wolves game and the Watford game, Tottenham didn't look convincing. They haven't looked convincing all season. Not a single game have I seen from Tottenham where I thought, you know what, they didn't look good. I'm not counting the Conference League match against what team was it? NS Mura? I'm not counting that. Why would I count that? It doesn't mean nothing. Bloody, what team could I think of right now? Burnley could look convincing against NS Mura. Does it matter? No. What matters is that Tottenham are here with a -7 goal difference. 9 goals scored, 16 conceded. You know? And people really think United are the crisis team. Oh boy, United were never really in. Oh yeah, okay, they were in crisis. Yeah, they were in crisis. You don't lose 5-0 at home to Liverpool. You don't do that. You don't. I was meant to make a video on that, but got too late. No one wants to see a match reaction of a game that happened 5 days ago. Nonetheless, Tottenham were just extremely bad, and United were good enough to take advantage. And I don't know, you can't get any worse than this, can you, if you're Tottenham? With United, now they can look forward to the game against Atlanta with confidence. They were able to steal a win before against the second string, well, mostly the second string. So now they've got to try and go to Bergamo and get a result. But they probably will, because they have a tendency of doing that, don't they, United? When the pressure mounts on them, they deliver. Obviously, a lot of people are Ollie out. I know Dookie's Ollie out. Aren't you, Dookie? Nonetheless, there's them ones there where it's just like, Man United can now build some momentum, you know. They're back in around, what, 4th, 5th position, I think? And they're not too far away, you know, from the leaders at the top in Chelsea and Liverpool, even though Chelsea have opened up a lead, because Liverpool once again fumbled the bag against, you know, Brighton, who continue to play, you could say, above the level. Potter's doing, you know, his magic there. You see what I did there? Nonetheless, all in all, to summarise the Tottenham-Man United game, well, Nuno was continuing to prove that maybe this is not the job for him. I'm a man who believes in patience and believes in it being successful, and knowing that sometimes it can take time for something to click. But sometimes you can look at performances and displays and try to see hallmarks of improvement. And right now, what you see in Tottenham is a team that seems to get worse with every single game that they play. It's not good enough. And what doesn't help is that he doesn't pick the right team. In a game like this, you didn't seem to pick the right tactics or system. You know, you have to try and play against United, kind of like how Liverpool did. Press them high, put pressure on them. You know, Tottenham have the players to be able to execute such a system. You know, there's still lots of remnants from the Poch era, for flip's sake. So, you know, you've got Son. He likes a cheeky press, doesn't he, Son? You've got people like Brian Hill, you know, new signing in that. Kane works hard. Even though I feel like that man's logged off. He's logged off, and he's trying to log back in onto the Man City servers. You see what I'm saying? He's not trying to play for this damn club anymore. And I don't know why we try to keep it, because once again, I don't believe in forcing a player to stay when you know that means he's not going to give 100%. No matter what he tells you in these statements and stuff. You can see it on the pitch. But back to the point about pressing. You know, they have the players to execute such a system. But they just look lost out there. They didn't know what they were doing. They made, like, Ollie actually outfought Nuno here. And a lot of people wouldn't think of Oli as a tactical manager. He's not, is he? He's a superstar merchant at this point. You know, depending on the likes of Bruno, Ronaldo, Pogba. He did get sent off in the last game. But, you know, he depends on these big stars to deliver. And he likes a bit of Rashford too, doesn't he? So it's them ones there where it's just like, Nuno shouldn't really be getting like outfought, outdone, you know, he's outclassed by Oli. And United didn't even look that great as well doing it, which makes it even worse in the case of Tottenham because they looked like 0.5% better when Ndombele came on and stuff, and Bergwijn came on. But the reality is that Tottenham took off their best player, Lucas Moura, who was the only one that was trying to, you know, provide some verve going forward, and then put on Bergwijn for him. Now, I would have thought Lo Celso would have went off, put Lucas in the middle, so that's more time for him to affect the game, more spaces in the central area of the pitch for him to get on the ball more, and have put Bergwijn on to play on the wings. You know, you see how that works? Why do you think the fans were booing when man made the sub? It wasn't the fact that he put on Bergwijn or he made a sub. You know, by the way, which is way earlier than I thought, because this guy is turned into a man that puts people on when the game's already done, when the game's already close to being finished. The problem isn't the sub or who you put on, it's who you took him off for. Lucas Moura, yeah, I get it. Lucas, you know, should have a little bit more, you know, end product for his abilities. You know, recently he hasn't been banging in the goals, but he was the only one giving us something in that game. He was one of the few players that was trying to give us something, and you take him off. But enough about Tottenham. Let's look at United before I end this video. United, like I said, they were under the pressure coming to this game. The media painted a huge picture that if Oli lost this game, he would lose his job. Obviously, it turns out he has 3 games to save his job, apparently, you know, and he's won the first one of 3. Obviously, a lot of United fans might not want that to happen, you know, but it's going to happen. He'll probably win the Atlanta game too, and he has such a good record against City, you can't rule him out for that one too, can you? You know what I'm saying? But Oli did well to basically ensure solidity in the team, to make sure that defensively they weren't going to get torn apart, even though they were never in danger of that happening to them. Tottenham never looked like a threat. They haven't looked like a threat since the first half of the Newcastle game, where they banged 3 goals. I believe it was 3 goals. 3 goals in the first half, 2 or 3 goals. You know, so the only game, by the way, where I think they've scored more than 1 goal. I think. The only game in the league. And United made sure to play 3 at the back. They had Varane come back from injury, and he was a crucial threat. Crucial threat? I can say crucial threat. He was a crucial man in that defence. You know, securing Maguire, securing Lindelof, who looked so shaky in the Liverpool game. And the Leicester game, to be honest. And the Atlanta game, to be honest. You know, they looked so shaky in recent games. And, you know, having Varane back there is clearly a calming influence. And, you know, he did his thing. Even though, like I said, didn't have anything to do, really. They definitely didn't have anything to do. Not a single shot came in winning his goal, for flip's sake. Nonetheless, McTominay and Fred, very good box-to-box performances from the both of them. Obviously, Oli was gassing up McTominay at the end of the game, saying he's his man of the match and all that kind of stuff. You know, and, you know, McTominay did his job in that midfield. A lot of United fans still might not agree with his inclusion in the lineups. Same with Fred. But those two did really well. Tottenham made them look good. That's what they do. It's a Tottenham thing. And then obviously, Wan-Bissaka worked hard. Luke Shaw worked hard. Ronaldo did his thing up front. 1 goal, 1 assist. Man of the match performance. And Cavani, you could say a little bit of a surprise inclusion. Maybe not to Oli, who also said in another interview after the game that he put in the best training performance he's ever seen since he became manager. Like, whoa, that's a big statement. I better see Cavani play every game then. If he's training like a madman like that. He proved his worth in the game. He worked hard. He did Cavani things, making cheeky runs, all of that kind of stuff. So it's one of those ones there where I think this might be the way forward for United. But the problem is, now you don't have Rashford, Sancho, or Greenwood in the lineup. 3 players that you would expect them to play a huge part in United's fortunes this season. But the reality is having those 3 on the bench paid off for this game. So we'll see if Oli actually continues with that 3-4-1-2 system, or he changes back to his preferred 4-2-3-1. Because unfortunately that 4-2-3-1 don't look like it's working. Maybe because he's not putting the right players in the positions like Van der Beek or Pogba. But, you know, right now he might be better off trying to keep his job by playing this system. Unless Conte comes and keeps it 3-5-2 and does it better. All I know is that the system got the job done. And apparently it was Ollie's oldest lineup he's ever played since he became United manager. Experience is key. Experience is key. But no, that's going to be all for today's episode. It's good to be back talking football. Obviously, if you guys didn't really know, unfortunately, Tottenham's my team. You can probably tell because how angry I was when I was talking about them, but it is what it is. You know, you only have one angry man talking about Tottenham, shout expressions. But, yeah. I guess thank you all for listening. And I guess I'll see you in the next one.